I can't believe it's the next video, but here it is. So, last video I talked about if our amiibos worth it or not. In this video, I'm here to explain to you what do the Fire Emblem amiibos do in Fire Emblem games. I won't be counting Smash Bros. Or the game you're looking at now, codenamed Steam. I'm focusing only on the Fire Emblem games, the 3DS ones at least. Maybe I'll cover the Switch ones in another video. With that being said, let's go look at the 3DS Fire Emblem games and see how each amiibo work on the system, judging if it's a good functionality or if it's just kind of lame. Technically, the first Fire Emblem game to have amiibo support is Fire Emblem Awakening. However, that game did not have amiibo support. So instead, we're skipping on to the next Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Fates, Conquest, Birthright, and Revelation. Now, in the Fire Emblem Fates game, you can only scan up to 4 of the Fire Emblem amiibos: Mars, Ike, Lucina, and Robin. Now, how these amiibo work in the game? Well, I'm about to tell you now. By scanning one of the 4 Fire Emblem amiibos that I just mentioned, you can actually recruit them. I'm serious, you can actually recruit other Fire Emblem characters from different games onto Fates. Now, you have to battle them, obviously. However, I do recommend that your units are at a high enough level to actually, battle these amiibo Fire Emblem characters, because they're actually pretty difficult. But once you recruit them, they're really cool to have on your team because they're very strong and have their respective, attacks. Like, oh, Robin can use magic. Lucina's good with her sword, etc. Now, get used to Fire Emblem amiibos. Get used to this it's good, because later down the line it gets worse. As you can see on my 3DS, I basically use all the girl units, because that's how I play Fire Emblem. By the way, here are the amiibos. Yeah. Let's talk about the next Fire Emblem game with amiibo support on the 3DS. Fire Emblem Echoes: Shadows of Valentia. Now, this game is a remake of the second Fire Emblem game in the series, Fire Emblem Gaiden. However, I'm only here to talk about the Fire Emblem specific amiibos. Yes, it is true you can scan in pretty much any amiibo and you get like a unit, but I'm here to talk about the Fire Emblem characters. Now, by having Alm and Celica, you can unlock special dungeons in the game, which is pretty cool. By scanning the 4 previous amiibos that I just mentioned, you can also have a unit for 1 turn, which kinda sucks. I'll be honest, scanning these amiibo kind of confused me. Like, what was I going to do with the Alm and Celica amiibo? Well, it turns out, remember when I talked about you can scan any amiibo and you can have the units for like 1 turn and they go away? Well, these amiibo you can actually level up. Yeah, because, they're the main characters of their respective game, which is something we don't really see with other Fire Emblem games. Yeah, whenever the protagonist gets their own Fire Emblem game, normally their own respective amiibo won't work. I'll probably talk more about that when I talk about the Switch amiibo support for the Fire Emblem games, but for the 3DS, yeah, you get 2 different dungeons depending on which amiibo you scan. And as for the 1 turn option, scanning amiibos for 1 turn in battle, it sucks. I mean, what the hell is 1 turn gonna do for me in battle? It won't even buy me a cup of coffee at Starbucks. And guess what? I don't even drink coffee. So what's the point on having units for 1 turn in a battle? Why not have it for the whole turn? The whole battle, whatever. Or better yet, why not just recruit them like you did in Fates? Oh well, at least we can scan the Roy amiibo, because if you remember, Roy was DLC in Smash Bros. 4. And since Corrin's amiibo was also DLC, that's why their amiibo didn't work in Fates either. And what would Corrin do in Fates anyway? Because Corrin is the protagonist of Fates. I don't know. I wasn't going to include this, but let's talk about the last Fire Emblem 3DS game to have amiibo support that also got a Switch version, Fire Emblem Warriors. Yeah, not your typical Fire Emblem game, obviously. I was the person that bought the 3DS version over the Switch version. Now, in this game, when you scan Amiibos, all you get is like weapons. You get weapons and maybe some other items as well. Nothing crazy, just overall very boring. With Echo's Shadows of Valentia, when you scan an Amiibo, I mean, depending on who you scan, it might show a render or not. Like if you scan any of the Fire Emblem Amiibos, their render will appear as ghosts, where if you scan in like Mario, they'll appear like a generic unit, whatever. Now for Warriors, you get one of two Amiibos, Tiki and Chrom. Funny enough, Chrom will have a second Amiibo when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will come out. And by scanning Tiki and Chrom in Echo's Shadows of Valentia, all you get is like generic units. It's not like, oh, if you scan in Chrom, you're gonna get like a sword unit. No, you might get like someone like that uses magic. So it's not really specific because these Amiibos came out after Echo's Shadows of Valentia. Now, what do you get with these Amiibos? Well, I'll tell you. By scanning Chrom, you will get the practice sword, which is, I would assume it's a weaker version of the sword that he already has in the game, so why would you even have that sword to begin with? And by scanning the Tiki Amiibo, you will get Tiki's Tear, which improves her stats in the game. Clearly, she got the better Amiibo functionality out of the two. But this whole Amiibo scanning in Warriors, guess what? You're only allowed to scan up to 5 Amiibos per day. Yeah. 5 Amiibos per day. Whatever. And there you have it, Fire Emblem Amiibos on the 3DS. Now, if I were to cover Fire Emblem Amiibos on the Switch, it probably won't be the next video. I have other videos to upload in the meantime, so if you enjoy this video, I'll probably will do a Switch video for Fire Emblem Amiibos. I'm Chris Lidecker, and thanks for watching, and please subscribe.